Going to bring in my first guest, a very close friend, my partner, a man, a very passionate football fan. Got to be happy about Mike Martz coming to the Bears, opening up that offense. One and only Ashton Kutcher. Ashton, what's up, brother?
What's happening, Nate? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for joining us here on Sirius 211 XM 147, the brand new SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio channel. It's the Fantasy Consultant, and it's live. Ashton, what's going on, brother? Well, let's talk about your Bears this year as you get ready for this season. How are you feeling about the Bears, the moves, Mike Martz coming in? How you like the way that offense is looking right now?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I had dinner with Urlacher last week, and we had a long conversation about some of the new additions. He says Cutler's looking good, feeling Mike Martz's offense. Julius Peppers is looking like a beast. Just is going to help the offensive line more than one could ever imagine. He also said that Matt Forte is fully recovered from his hamstring injury that he had last year. So I'd say move him up your draft board a couple slots. The one question mark I have is about how they're going to fit Greg Olsen into a Mike Martz offense, because usually Mike Martz doesn't utilize the tight end in that way, but they're going to have to figure out how to get him involved because he's such a dominant player. But I'm really interested. I mean, that's the one question mark for me. What do you think about that, Nate?
You know, I couldn't agree more. I think that Greg Olsen, an incredibly talented player, last year, career high, 60 catches, 612 yards, 8 touchdowns. The issue is, as you highlighted, it's Mike Martz. What's going to happen? Now, we remember, a couple years ago, Mike Martz was in San Francisco. They have a tight end who was pretty darn good, and all the preseason hype was that he was going to line up as a receiver, and they were going to use him, and he was going to be great. That tight end is a guy by the name of Vernon Davis, who, if you played fantasy football last year, you know he was pretty darn good. That season with Mike Martz, just 31 catches for 358 yards and 2 touchdowns, which are his worst career outputs on a per-game basis by far. So Mike Martz, no friend of the tight end. I think Greg Olsen's still a very good pass catcher. I don't think there's any way he's going to match his numbers from last year unless Mike Martz makes some serious adjustments to his system. And based on what I've seen in the past, that doesn't seem to be the way Mad Mike operates. So I think the receivers are going to help. I think the running backs are going to get help from Mike Martz. But Greg Olsen now, instead of being a top 7 fantasy tight end like he would be in a traditional system, he's looking like somebody who's probably going to be a backup tight end for you going into the season.
Backup? You're demoting him all the way to backup tight end?
I'm taking him right out of my top 12, and I'm going to tell you why. You're looking at the tight end position this year deeper than ever, in my personal opinion. You got Dallas Clark, you got Gates, you got Vern Davis, Jason Witten, Jeremichael Finley, who if you take him over the last 10 games last year would have been the number 3 tight end, Brent Selleck, Gonzalez, and then you got kind of the next group, Zach Miller, Kellen Winslow, Heath Miller, Owen Daniels. Where are they at as it relates to Greg Olsen? Because you think about having to match those numbers in the new system, I think is going to be very, very difficult.
Well, you got a point. I mean, look at Owen Daniels last year was a beast until he got hurt. I mean, he could have competed for the number 1 tight end in the league before he got hurt, and he'll be back, and he's still got the beast on the outside, Mr. Johnson.
The big dude.
The big dude is just taking care of business. So, I mean, I look for Owen Daniels to have probably the biggest bounce of anybody if he can stay healthy.